So Michigan moves on from the Midwest region, and now we get ourselves to the Final Four. Our Final Four is UConn coming out of the East region. We have Houston coming out of the South. Gonzaga is our surprise coming out of the West. Michigan coming out of the Midwest. Now we figure out who wins from there. UConn or Houston?
I think Houston.
I don't know. I'm thinking UConn. I think if Dan Hurley gets his guys this far, I think he might keep them rolling.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, they are better offensively, like in terms of efficiency.
Yeah, and that is where Houston has run into troubles against some of the more elite teams they have played. Like against Arizona,
Kansas.
Yeah, Houston kind of ran the problem where they couldn't score enough sometimes.
I mean, I'm okay with UConn. I picked Houston in the other one, so I'm fine with that.
We'll roll a UConn. And then Gonzaga and Michigan. I'm guessing this is where the Gonzaga run ends. We'll end up having to go with Michigan there.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I do want to see them beat Michigan, they're not the Gonzaga from a few years ago. They just aren't. You can tell just by watching them that they're not. So, even though we picked them to go to the Final Four, to be honest, I don't see them doing that. I just figured it would be good for our bracket and some conversation. Just because of their experience. They're always deep. There's one off year where they're not. And I feel like this is a year they can go deep, but I don't think they have a big enough tank. So, UConn, Michigan.
Now the question is, do we go with UConn for
or do we go with Michigan?
do we go with Michigan for the intern?
I don't know. I feel like
the interesting part is like UConn is not, they're not playing their best ball down the stretch, which is a concern. Michigan is the most talented team, but it is also fair to ask if they peaked in November and December. So that's kind of the downside of both teams. Again, we are basically scrapping at the smallest issues here because both teams are immensely talented and really, really good.
I would say because there's a 9-point difference in points per game, Michigan.
I feel like Michigan's the pick here. I feel like there's a very good chance it's a 1 seed that wins it all. So, yeah.
I mean, what, 1 and 4 for a lot of these brackets?
Yeah. But yeah, Michigan has felt like a team that's really difficult to pick against this year.
Yeah, so there you have it. Updog Sports Talk's pick of the tournament is Michigan winning it all. Tony would have had a lot to say about that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everybody's bracket's going to be different. I am going to probably have 4 or 5 different brackets if I get enough time later this week. Just for fun, I'm going to see how many of these teams I can actually put into March Madness 2008, even though we have long since not been able to do that. Just because how they play each other, it's not the same. So when you plug it in, it's like the South is playing the West, and then you're like, ah! And then you just spent half an hour putting it together.
Yeah, the other challenge is, we're running into a point here where there's a lot of teams that are at this level now that weren't there back when March Madness 2008 came out. It definitely was a fun activity to do for a long time there. Even for a little bit, a couple of years ago, I did man versus woman versus machine to see who would pick the best. But yeah, this year probably just be, I'm going to do my own bracket. My wife is doing a bracket, and as I mentioned at one point during the show, my dog is filling out a bracket with me throwing tennis balls and her picking the winner based on which tennis ball she takes. Currently, by the way, she is a gold retriever, and she did pick the UMBC Retrievers to beat Michigan. That is her biggest upset. Naturally, she's biased towards retrievers.